Hello and welcome to mycadsite.com, and this is a video tutorial about the hatch command and some other related commands like the gradient, boundary, and solid commands as well. So let's just jump right into it, and I'm just going to start by drawing a rectangle. And I'm not sure about the size on this, I'm just drawing it to fit this odd small screen I'm using for video purposes. And I'm just going to put a circle in the middle of it. And this is just like tutorial 2-5 on my CAD site. So what I've done here is I've created a shape, and we're going to presume it's a piece of metal with a hole drilled through it. And to do a cross section of that, or a section view, we use the hatch command. So I'm just going to start it up, and you'll see it's already filled it in, but that's not what I want. So I just hit the T option. You'll see down here T for settings, and it opens up this dialog box which gives me a few options. So instead of going with the solid, I can go to steel, and we'll try a scale of 1, and I'll pick some points. I'm just going to pick this point, and it gives me a preview. So I'm just going to right click, and you'll see that that's brought it in, and it's not quite what I want. So it's a little big, so I'm just going to do a scale of, let's say, 6 and see how that looks. And that looks better. So I'm just going to close that, hit escape, and you can see that now I've got a hatch that is showing steel pattern, and it's filled in. It detected this hole as well. So it's very quick, very easy to use. And I'm just going to go into the hatch edit command, HE enter, and select this. And you'll see that one thing I didn't do, and it's off by default, is select this annotative, and I can't change that after the fact. And the reason I want to have that is that if this diameter changes, you can see I'm going to have to redo the hatch. So I'm going to erase this hatch, and I'm going to start over. So I'm going to start the hatch command, H enter. I'm going to go into T for settings, and this time I'm going to select annotative. So I'm going to set my scale to 6 like I had it before. Pick points and press enter. So I've got that same hatch pattern, but now if I change the circle, you'll see that the hatch pattern changed with it. Now this is great. This is so handy to have. If you've ever drawn a hatch pattern like this by hand using pencil and paper, and then you've had to change something in your drawing, you've had to erase most of your hatch and start over. But AutoCAD will do it for you. So that's just a quick look at how the hatch command works. Just play with it, try a few different settings, try different patterns, see how it works. So I'm just going to erase this all and try something else. I'm going to draw 4 lines, and it doesn't really matter what shape, but the thing is I'm not going to use the end point O snap. I'm just going to leave a little gap there. So I'm going to do a zoom extents, and so there's my shape. So now if I start the hatch command and I pick an internal point, you're going to see I get this dialog box here, and I can go to details, and it gives me some more information about what's going on with this. But the most important part is right here. It's giving me some circles that are going to show me where the gap is. Now that is really handy. It didn't used to do that for you. So what I can do now is just take this, press escape, and I've used my O snaps and my grips to put it together, and then I just do RE enter, and that gets rid of my circles. And now I can do my hatch, and I'm set. So a lot of times if your hatch doesn't work, that's because you've got an open area, and it's just can be tough to find, but AutoCAD's making the tools a little easier to use each time in each version. So the next one I'm going to do, I'm just going to put another circle in here just for something to do, and that's the gradient command. And you'll see right away it's created a gradient of two different colors. Now if I go up here, I can go to different properties. I can change the colors. You can see how it gives me a preview and everything as I work through it. And I can change the origin, but pretty much it's not something you use a lot in your everyday drafting, but it's just good to know it's there in case you need to use it at some point. So that's the gradient command. Works very similar. If I double click on it, it'll bring me the options here, and I can change colors. So, but play around with that if you like. That's the gradient command. Next one I'm going to show you is the boundary command. So I'm going to start with 4 random lines. And what the boundary command does is it doesn't fill an area like the hatch command. What it does is actually just create a new shape or new object based on the boundary, and in this case inside here. So BO, enter, and it gives me this nice dialog box. It's very straightforward. I can create a polyline or a region, but I'm just going to create a polyline. This is also covered in a later tutorial, what polylines are all about. So I'm going to pick a point just like I would a hatch, and there it is. Press enter, and it may not look like anything happened because everything's on the same layer and it's the same color, but if I start my move command and choose L for last, you can see how it's been highlighted, and I can select it and move it. So it's a very quick way of doing a complex shape. And this one is just 4 points, but remember the boundary command. It's going to come in very handy down the road and save you some time along the way. And the last one I'm going to show you is the solid command, and I'm just going to type in solid, and what it wants is 3 or 4 points to create a shape. So I'm just going to do these 4 points, and you can see what it's done is created this kind of weird shape here. So let's just erase everything, draw a rectangle, go to solid, and if I pick 4 points, it gives me this bow tie look, which really I'm rarely going to need. So let's just erase that. And what this command is good for, the solid command, is just to create something with 3 points. So I've done 3, press enter, and there's my shape. And that's really quick. If I need the whole thing done, I should probably just use the hatch command, but I can also use the solid command again and pick these 3 points, and there it is filled, but then I've got 2 different shapes. So anyway, that's a quick look at hatching, gradients, boundaries, and solids. Have a look at mycadsite.com, and this is going to be covered in tutorial 2-5, and I've got a completely free AutoCAD course with over 50 tutorials and tons of videos, so check it out if you haven't already been there. Thanks for watching. This is Art at mycadsite.com.